of the day, top 10 transfer shocks. We've already made ours earlier in the season. Righty out, Richards in. It's not going well.
The numbers have gone through the roof.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it takes a player a while to adapt. But we're hoping for better things in the second season.
I think I've been absolutely a fantastic addition.
We'll be the judge of that. Yeah, you are.
But it's been good, actually, giving a better balance to the side. 3 strikers was probably
age differences and that. And
what, age differences?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, well, right, it just took that long, didn't it, to bring that up? Alan's still with us. He's on the shelf.
Could do better.
Could do better. Hello and welcome. We're talking Premier League transfers today. Not any old transfers, just the ones that make you go, what? How did that happen? So there you go. Alan, Shearer and Micah Richards are here, as we know, and you can have your say on Twitter using the hashtag #MOTD10. So here's our top 10. I'll read it out first and foremost. Andy Carroll, Newcastle to Liverpool in 2011. That was for £35 million. Fernando Torres, Liverpool to Chelsea, 50 million in 2011 as well. Tevez and Mascherano and Carlos Tevez, Corinthians to West Ham for undisclosed fee. Raheem Sterling, 2015, Liverpool to Manchester City for £44 million. Sol Campbell, who was a free transfer, you'll remember, from Tottenham to Arsenal way back in 2001. Robin van Persie, Arsenal to Manchester United for £24 million. Eric Cantona, of course, Leeds to Manchester United for the meagre sum of £1.2 million in 92. Tevez again, this time from Manchester United to Manchester City for £47 million, 2009. 2006, Ashley Cole, Arsenal to Chelsea, that was £5 million. And finally, 1995, Andy Cole from Newcastle to Manchester United. Newcastle selling their best ever striker. So, go on then, Alan.
10, I've gone Sol Campbell, Tottenham to Arsenal.
Ridiculous, but anyway, we'll speak about that later.
9, Robin van Persie. 8, Andy Carroll, Newcastle to Liverpool. 7, Raheem Sterling, Liverpool to City. And 6, Andy Cole, Newcastle to Man United.
Newcastle's finest striker. Okay. Right. This, I think you've got Sol obviously higher, judging by your reaction, significantly.
I won't give it away just yet.
I don't want you to give it away. So, why so low, Sol Campbell? Because that caused huge waves at the time.
Did it?
I think it even made the 10 o'clock news.
Where was it? Just huge waves in North London, or was it everywhere?
Well, especially in North London.
I got the news in Leeds. Come on, you're going from your captain of Spurs and you go to your rivals. I could understand if you're paying
on a
20,
free transfer.
30 million. Free transfer. That is...
They should have offered him a better contract then, shouldn't they?
But it is a shock, though, isn't it?
Massive.
To go from what... I mean...
Well, it's one thing. It's
like
right.
Liverpool to Everton or Manchester United to Manchester, or the other way round. You know, it's that kind of...
It didn't...
doesn't happen very often.
No, but if you know or understand Sol...
Which you do. What's he like?
Yeah, I've obviously played in the same team as Sol, and I think if there was one player it wouldn't affect, or he wouldn't give a flying whatever about what other people were thinking, then it would be Sol.
Why'd you say that? Why?
Well, just because he has this. I think he had this attitude of, well, so what? I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't care or maybe understand what he was perhaps doing in moving from a rival to a rival, and with him being the captain. And I think that's an attitude that is good to have, because in football, whatever you do, at some stage you're going to get criticised.
To announce that you've got Sol Campbell from your rivals, I just think it's awful, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to pay the big bucks, you accept it.
It's how much it hurts the fans, I think, as well, isn't it? Because that's It shouldn't in the real world. It's just a bloke playing for a football team who goes to play for another football team.
It was captain of Spurs, though. That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
So you're captain. You're the one that you look up to. Supposed to be leading by example, and he's left his team in the lurch. No, I lost a lot of respect for him when he did that, even though I was a gooner.
We'll save a little bit of your thunder for later, because you've obviously got him significantly higher.
Yeah.
He was a gooner. How many teams? I mean, we've done. This is our fifth one. We Leeds fan, a gooner, City, Villa.
Yes.
But no, Arsenal was your team growing up.
Yes.
Are they still your team now?
Well, depends what you mean by that. It depends. Can you be a bit more specific with the question?
Arsenal played, let's say, Manchester City.
Well, considering I'm a Manchester City ambassador...
That's not answering my question. If Arsenal played Manchester City, in all truth, who would you want to win?
How important is the game?
It's an FA Cup final. Oof. It's a Champions League final. It's
final.
The biggest game you can possibly play in club
because
football.
I'll be
Man City
parading the
getting
trophy.
paid off Man City.
See, this
is all about the
Otherwise, his contract's cancelled off Man City if he says anything different.
Do you see? That's where fans will never understand how you can change allegiance from one club to another.
No, I'll always have a love for Arsenal, but. What are you laughing at?
Anything. I never said
anything. Definitely can't.
But Man City, I was there since I was 14. It's not like I went there and I was 21, 22 and stayed there 4 years. I left there when I was 27, so it's a long stint at a club.
So we'll save a bit of Sol, because you've obviously got him higher. Well, another Arsenal one here. In 9, you've gone Robin van Persie, great player. We've talked about him many times. Of course, Arsenal to Manchester United, 24 million. It was seen as a massive mistake by Arsene Wenger, wasn't it? Letting one of the best strikers they've ever had go to your biggest rivals at the time.
Yeah, after doing so well in the Arsenal shirt. But, I mean, let's face it, when Man United come calling, who turns Man United down?
Only an idiot.
Only an idiot would do that.
So I understood the pull. I nearly did it myself. So he went there his first season to Man United, but wasn't he disappointed? Because I think then Fergie left a season after him going to Man United, and obviously Sir Alex would have been a huge pull.
Did they only have one season together?
I think he only had one season. Then Sir Alex left.
It was odd though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was odd, but I think he'd done everything he could possibly do at Arsenal.
It's not how fans see it, though.
And it's not, but they'd have how many players? Torres left, he came to us. Adebayor came to us. Clichy came to us. We got all their players, didn't we? And then going to Man United, I wouldn't say it was guaranteed to win,
but they were the two big rivals at that point, weren't they?
Yeah, there was, but Arsenal wasn't improving the team at the rate that he wanted. Yeah. So, as an Arsenal fan, I understood it. If I was being totally honest, it's never nice to go to
Arsenal.
Former Arsenal. I could understand it.
What a decision, though. I mean, he's won the Golden Boot in his first year. He's won the Premier League in his first year. So it was again another decision that was time.
No. Right, Andy Carroll talking about big money transfers.
Yeah,
Newcastle to Liverpool, 35 million quid.
That was a big surprise. That was.
Yeah, I mean, Andy Carroll's, when he was in his prime, he was a handful, wasn't he? He'd score goals and he was technically a decent footballer. Injuries, he just doesn't play though. But that's just one of those things. That's
well, it's
bad
ironic.
luck.
He was injured when he signed for Liverpool, wasn't he? He couldn't play for the first 4 or 5 weeks when he signed his contract. But that all revolved around the Torres transfer to Chelsea. Suarez, Carroll. When you sit and have a pint with Kenny Dalglish at Liverpool about the money that they got for Torres, he said it was always well spent because he got the double deal with Carroll and Suarez. I mean, what a player Suarez turned out to be. But that deal, Andy Carroll.
You know, when you sit down and have a pint with Kenny Dalglish, not everyone can do that.
Tell
us what he said about it.
Because the deal for Andy we looked upon as if to say, goodness me, what a waste of money that was. And he wasn't there that long. Then went to West Ham, I think, after that. Didn't score that many league goals at all. I'm not even sure he got into double figures, I don't think, in terms of league goals. But the deal for Suarez was part of that. So that's why Kenny says it was always a great deal. But, I mean, the Torres deal, that all revolved around that and getting players.
Work hard, score
What's
great
he like
header.
to play against? Because his elbow, isn't he?
Everywhere.
I don't think he deliberately tries to do people, or maybe he does.
Yeah, I think he does.
Do you?
But not in a nasty way, if that makes sense. He's just when he's up there, he knows how to protect himself. Yeah. So his arms are a little bit all over the place. But it was a nightmare to play. You could always play against him because I had pace. So I'd just let him win the first ball. Because you're not going to win the ball. It's like Crouch. There's no point. This 35 million.
A good touch and good...
That's just bad, which is a shame because we...
Played his whole career, hasn't it?
Yep. At number 7, Raheem Sterling. Now, that caused a bit of consternation, didn't it? Certainly. I mean, he went there as a young man, didn't he? And everyone said, it was crazy money for... But he's certainly proved himself. What a player.
Yeah, he's a top player. I still think he's got another level more clinical.
He's improved that though, hasn't he? Over the last 2 or 3 years.
But I still believe he can get more. He gets in them areas.
He does.
Like you guys are strikers, so he gets in the right areas. How many times? You know that run from left to right. He does it better than anyone I've ever seen. But if he had a little bit more composure, he could get 20, 30 goals every season. Because look at you playing with De Bruyne, Cancelo's playing the ball forward now. I'm his biggest fan.
Do you know when you talk about it's natural for finishers? I don't think finishing has ever been natural to Raheem, and I think in terms of people working at it, and he's worked at it, he's without doubt. I mean, he's improved massively his goal scoring and his technique.
His goal
and his
involvement
positional
is
sense,
incredibly high.
Yeah, he's to get to where he was. I think when he left Liverpool to where he is now, I mean, he's gone to another level.
Yeah,
without doubt.
He's also proven how mentally strong he is, because to make that move at that point, obviously it was a club suddenly in big money and stuff.
Yeah, it was as well. It was the way it happened. I think there's an article that came out. He said he wouldn't re-sign for any amount of money at Liverpool.
Yeah, sometimes
I know you don't know how true that is.
Yeah, I know, and also people forget when players say things that perhaps you go, is that a good idea? They're so young, I mean, I've got 4 boys, and they say really stupid things, but they're not in the public eye. So they can get away with it.
I think the same about their dad.
Ever. No. Total respect. They're out the will otherwise.
Yeah, he got a lot of grief over that move, but the way he handled it was superb.
Yeah, it certainly was.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Andy Cole, number 6.
I mean, it was such a surprise because the relationship he had with Peter Bailey.
He would have been Newcastle's best ever striker.
Well, he was a good player, but I'm not sure he was that good. They knew what was coming along the line. They knew they had big Les.
All right, fair enough.
Les was after.
Fair enough.
What a job Les did.
He didn't quite usurp Jackie Milner.
No, I mean, what a finisher he was, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can you remember Kevin Keegan on the steps outside?
That's the point of this transfer, wasn't it? People say, why is that such a big shock, Newcastle to Manchester United? But God blimey, it was a Ferrari, wasn't it?
Unbelievable, yeah. No one could quite believe what was going on. Do you know what? Sometimes you got to also think. I mean, that was £7 million at the time, which was big money then, back in '95. And you don't know what part the manager, if any part at all, is whether he's been told, you have to sell him.
There's always more sides to the story in transfers
whether the club
that ever comes out.
Yeah. Whether the club say to the manager, no, that's too good a deal to turn down, go and handle it, But I think Kevin, in normal Kevin Keegan fashion, he thought, no, I've got to get out and I've got to explain this situation. And he did it very, very well, but there was so much anger from the fans.
He's a great striker, Andy.
Yeah, he was. He really was. Finishing-wise, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah. Right, okay. That's your 10 to... What's your 10 to 6?
Tevez and Mascherano, number 10. Van Persie, same as you. Nolan, number 9.
Yeah.
Sterling, number 8.
Yeah.
Andy Cole, number 7.
Not too dissimilar.
Yeah,
so
and
far.
Tevez.
The other Tevez twice.
Tevez twice, yeah, Tevez on his own.
Okay, well, that leaves us talking about the Mascherano and Tevez with Corinthians, which is obviously a Brazilian football club, to West Ham. Undisclosed fee.
That
I always
deal-
think that's undisclosed. Always sounds a little bit suspicious.
That
doesn't it?
deal stank, didn't it? That stank, that deal.
It did, yeah. It did. Wasn't that the Jarabchian was involved, wasn't it? Was the agent kid?
Jarabchian,
didn't they kind of half own the players or something like that, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah, the
Which is a
players were
strange
part
thing.
owned. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a great way of doing it. If you see some kids who are really good,
Yeah.
and I don't think it was just
Is it
the
good for
agent who owned
Is it good for the kids or the players, though, or just good for the agent?
apparently, when they're that young, probably not good for the kids. But they get a chance. They get them out of where they need to be.
Yeah.
And eventually they get to negotiate part of that ownership. So they're getting paid for the club, although the agent's getting a lot of money, but he's getting money for himself as well.
Yeah.
And obviously his name probably wouldn't be on there, but yeah, he's getting...
2 players, though, aren't they? Proper
They
players.
were unbelievable players. What they turned out to be, the careers that they had. Probably not as good at West Ham as they were.
No. You've
the
obviously
other clubs.
got them both of them in your top 5.
Well,
Why?
I've got that Mascherano and Tevez deal as number 1.
Have you? It's number 1. Wow, that's a contrast. You've got 10 and you're first.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we'll do it now. Let's do your 5 to 1. Come on, let's do it.
My 5
Yeah.
to 1 was Carlos Tevez, United to City. 4 was Ashley Cole, Arsenal to Chelsea. 3 was Torres, Liverpool to Chelsea. 2 was Cantona, Leeds to Man United. And number 1 was Mascherano and Tevez.
Yeah. Micah?
Yeah, and my number 5 was Torres. Number 4 was Andy Carroll. Number 3, Ashley Cole. Agreed with Alan on number 2, Cantona. And then Sol Campbell.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's number
because what
1.
we've got here is, Alan, you went Sol Campbell 10, and you've got him in 1. I don't think we've ever had this before.
Yeah.
And you've gone Mascherano and Tevez as 1, and you went 10. Wow.
I just thought that
That's the difference between strikers and central defenders.
That's what I mean.
Right there. Why number 1 now? Why? Come on.
just because it didn't and wasn't and didn't look correct. I mean, it was. I mean, you've
Well,
got
it was
two...
a little bit like, I suppose, Tyson and Muren came together, didn't they? And then Villa and
it was just the way it was done. It was the way it was
Dealers.
announced. The transfer fees weren't announced for whatever reason. You've got these guys who have turned up. I'm not sure the manager knew an awful lot
You know what I'm
that
saying?
they were coming.
Somebody must have known.
It kept them up, though. It kept them up, didn't they?
Well, there was a court case, wasn't there, from Sheffield United,
Yeah.
who actually went after West Ham because it was against the law, forbidden to have those contracts that they had in terms of being owned by a third party.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have it then, so they were eventually fined, and
You
that's
remember
why
why Sheffield United had them? Were they after them
Sheffield
as well?
United got relegated.
Oh, that's correct. Absolutely. Of course they did, yeah. At their expense, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. They didn't win that.
Sheffield
though, did they?
United got relegated, and they weren't happy at all, and rightly so. And then West Ham were fined for doing the deal that way because it wasn't allowed.
But yeah, I could understand your point, but I just didn't think it was that much of a headline.
Played with Tevez, right?
Wow.
Yeah, he was.
What a player. Ability-wise, he's had more than Aguero.
Really?
Aguero is more natural finisher. Put him in there, he'll score. He's
So why do you...
Attitude?
His attitude was great. Didn't speak to anyone in training.
Off the pitch?
I heard he
Off the
didn't
pitch,
train. I heard he wasn't a trainer.
He just didn't do his own... None of them really trained well.
No.
The only Argentinian who's trained well is Zabaleta. He was every day at it.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, but
So, here you go. If you had to choose one, Tevez or Aguero?
for what, though?
At the prime. To play up front.
Play football?
Yeah, but it's different. We're talking about one of the greatest
Night
ever.
out then. For a night out, Micah.
That's different.
Come on, for a
David
night...
Silva.
David Silva. All day long.
That is too hard. It's too hard. That's like asking, like, Henry or Alan Shearer.
Well,
That's easy. Henry all day long.
They're different players, aren't there? If I had to pick one, look, Aguero won me a Premier League, so I've got to pick Aguero. But all-round ability, Tevez was way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Wow. Way better.
No, way better.
Way better. All-round.
Better, that's
I
quite...
would never have said that. I would have said...
That's a headline right there.
I know, yeah.
Micah Richards said Tevez is way
better
than Aguero. Ashley Cole, that's, I mean... It was the transfer, wasn't it? And latterly, it was kind of the book thing that exacerbated it in many ways, wasn't it? Because which probably wasn't the wisest thing Ashley's ever done.
They got pictured together, didn't they, in a secret meeting in a hotel, and that's, I think, maybe 6 months or a year before the transfer.
When you say
happened.
they, so that was Ashley.
I think it was Ashley with his agent, with was it Jose? He got pictured with Jose in some hotel or a restaurant or something like that, and him and his agent.
And obviously moving from one London club to another, and it being Chelsea. But he went on to win a lot.
What a player he was.
Yeah.
I mean,
you see a lot of really top players that don't necessarily deliver in the big tournaments and stuff, but he did, and he was always consistently good for England. I mean,
he was as good as left back we've had.
Yeah, he was the one player as well that could play against Ronaldo.
Yeah, yeah.
He used to play really well against him, didn't he? Did you play against him at all? Or?
I think I would have played against him,
Just in his early days.
In his early days,
yeah. We've got Torres. You've got him at 5 and Al at 3. I think one of the most astounding things, not just was the fact that Torres moved from Liverpool to Chelsea, it's how he suddenly stopped being Torres.
Yeah, I know.
As a player, in many ways.
I often thought about that, whether he was injured or he had a problem before he went. I mean, he had moments at Chelsea, but it was nowhere near what
so good at Liverpool. Never quite the same
injured.
Again, was he? He did all right, but that was 2 or 3 years at Liverpool. He was electric.
Oh, he never ever hit the heights really that he did it at Liverpool, because he was. You're right, he was unbelievable, wasn't he? He was at times unplayable.
Played against him a couple of times.
When he's prime with Liverpool.
Liverpool,
and
couldn't get anywhere near him. Yeah. He was fast. He was intelligent. He was stronger than. Have you seen him in the gym now? Have you seen his Instagram and stuff? Yeah. He's looking really well. And he just had everything. So when he went to Chelsea, I thought it was going to be a perfect move for him. And then
50-odd million, wasn't it?
You know what it was like? Do you remember Space Jam? Space Jam, the
Space Jam, where they take out your talent.
He took all his powers. It's like,
great
where's he?
That was basketball, though.
Yeah, I know, but similar.
But yeah, extraordinary player. Eric Cantona.
Cantona. I say, you can't go from Leeds to Man United. So this is where my pain. This is my pain.
Now.
So I was born in Birmingham, raised in Leeds. And I grew up in Manchester.
Supported Arsenal.
I know. What chance have I got? You can't go from Leeds to Man United.
Well, didn't he?
I know. I can't believe you don't get more stick for it, to be honest.
But Cantona, at the time, did you...
Could have predicted what Eric brought to Man United. The
swagger.
Yeah, the arrogance, the swagger, the ability, the I don't give a flying about anyone attitude. If you're going to have that arrogance, you've got to have some ability, and he did. I mean, he took it to another level in terms of, this is who I am. I don't care about anyone except me. In terms of a player, I talked to Steve Bruce about that, but he said he was our king. I mean, that's what they called him, King Eric, isn't it?
Yeah.
And anyone that they still sing about now, that they do, then he had to be special, and he was.
Yeah.
Proper player.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched him growing up. I just thought he was fantastic. I think when you're a young person watching football, you want to see a little bit of personality.
Certainly had that.
And that's what I liked about him the most.
That leaves us, really, well, we've kind of already discussed it, but we did say we'll save a little bit of the Sol Campbell, because you had Sol Campbell in 10th.
Yeah.
Moving from Spurs to Arsenal, and he was your top. Why? For you, was
just because Sol Campbell was I would say, I liked Vieira the most, and then Henry.
When you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. When Sol Campbell is someone who I looked up to massively. I thought he was valued as a player. I think he was a lot better than people actually give him ratings for. He wasn't the greatest on the ball. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But then, when you look up to someone as a captain, even in his Spurs days, to then go and play for your rivals on a free contract, I just think it was a disgusting thing to do.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
Because
even though he went to the club that you supported.
Even he got time. But I totally understand it from his point of view.
Yeah.
Alan said maybe they didn't want to pay him the money that it was worth, and he knew he was going to be successful at Arsenal, and it worked out well. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
It did work out well.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of it. The only thing is, we've both got
to decide.
I've got to decide, obviously, between, I suppose, Sol Campbell and the Mascherano and Tevez deal.
No favourites here. What was more of a headline? Tevez and Mascherano, we didn't even hear about it until they started playing after a month.
I think...
Well, you still haven't heard about them. You had to read up about them.
I'm going to have to go... I'm going to go Sol Campbell because I was at Tottenham, not then, but I saw him earlier. And Tottenham, for him to leave Tottenham to go to Arsenal is just unforgivable as a former Spur. So I've got no qualms with going for that. Thank you very much, chaps.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you probably just about kept your spots this week. No shock transfers. Remember to have your say. Who do you think would have made your list? We've had ours. As always, we're always happy to hear yours. Go to the hashtag MOT, the top 10. If you want to do your top 10, does the order really matter? Probably not.